Hey everyone, this is Hugo. It's March 20th, 2026. I want to do a quick overview of my trade plan for the day. My overall goal is to go from a losing trader to a break-even trader, and I plan on improving that or making that happen through just the um, daily actions that I plan on that I do, and improving those daily actions on a day-to-day basis via my trade plan, via the trade reviews that I do to help identify what it is that I need to be focusing on to help me get there. So coming into the day, I was a bit tired. Did struggle with some quality sleep, but so that's something. I was also frustrated by yesterday's performance, just knowing I did nothing right, and it just didn't help compound on my overall goal. That was pretty frustrating. Um, Am I trading today because I want to or should be? I do feel like I should be trading today. It's not because I want to. I mean, that's always a little hard to determine, right? But I think it gets a little bit more clear when you're working on your trade plan and identifying the market conditions. It becomes a little more clear of whether or not you want to or you should be. I think it's more of an after the fact sort of analysis. The market condition read. So diving into the market condition, actually economic calendar, I don't think there's anything important today. No FOMC from what I'm aware of. Market condition read, the higher time frames are trending, so quarterly, monthly, weekly are all trending. Let's take a quick peek at that. So quarterly here, an overnight spike didn't even get close to the -2, and it's now back into the lows and trending, doing what it was pretty much doing yesterday. Uh, Monthly and weekly. Monthly is also trending, held the -1.5 and back to holding below the -2. And then weekly is probably with the most significant movement of the night, which was an IPB of the weekly developing very low, um, and now continuing its imbalance lower, and they're all in alignment together, all three of the time frames. Intraday came into the day rotational, um, and then let's see, and that's following, with following the rejection of the monthly development very low. Let's see. So those are the stories that they're all pretty in alignment. Um, Yesterday, if we think about what happened, pretty much just a lot of rotation within the higher time frames, or there was a big move lower, and instead of really pulling back, it just rotated basically at those lower levels, and I think and then we ended up with a small pullback into the close yesterday, and then rejected it in the overnight. Where are we relative to yesterday? Coming into the day, pretty much at the same spot. This is pretty much the same spot we were yesterday, um, which is basically rotational. And then anything significant in the overnight, I mean, I kind of covered that. We rejected the weekly developing value area low and maintained the imbalance on the weekly and the other higher time frames. All the higher time frames are aligned, so there's no dissonance shifting condition. If we were to go back and potentially retest the weekly developing very low and look to accept within that could be a potential shifting condition. Um, we'd have to wait to get confirmation in regards to that. Still, the most valuable rejection or most recent rejection is weekly development very low. That's the most uh, clear piece of information that we have coming into the day. There's no areas of confluence. There's no cluster of confluence. There is confluence in terms of the direction and the fact that all the higher times are trending. And if we were to summarize what the market's trying to do, I believe it's trying to trend lower. And following the test of weekly development very low, we had a really nice rejection to support that thesis. And I think also that pullback was a good opportunity to get a deeper test on the weekly and potentially test the monthly development very low for an IPB. But the fact that that never happened is information that, there's a certain level of weakness and that the market wants to find value lower. My if then trade plans. My first one is going to be a fast trending um, IPB. So below, because we're coming in rotation into the day, I expect a bit of a fast trending market, somewhat similar to what we saw here about 10:10 to about 10:10. A little bit of that fast trending action. So getting involved with that. However, for me, I didn't get the full setup that I was looking for. And now we're kind of getting a nice clear an IPB um, instead. So we have a clear attempt to imbalance, and now testing that development very low with a um, what's it called? A sloping VWAP and development value area, which supports the fact that we are attempting or trying to go in balance here. On the 2 day, which is something that I mentioned I love to use, into the day we're rotational, and now we are fast trending below the -1.5 on the 2 day. So that could, pretty much on the 2 day we have confirmation that we are in balance, and it's just about getting the right spot. I think given the circumstances of what the overall market is trying to do, I'm not sure if it's trying to give too much of a pullback on the intraday or if it's just trying to just take off and go, um, which would be very different from what we saw yesterday. So again, it's interesting to see you had similar situations at the open where we're clearly rotational into the open versus yesterday. And whereas with yesterday we ended up very rotational, it was unclear what was trying to take place. And today you have a much more clear, uh, failure or attempt to go in or pretty much an imbalance, um, with strength, with a faster pace in price movement. So pretty significant or clear differences between yesterday's price action and today's price action, and today's looks like a market that's trying to get something done. And so now it's just okay. What are the spots in which we can make that happen? So right now, for me, the focus went from fast trending IPV to now just working on this imbalance here that you can tell I'm already involved in, and that's pretty much the plan that I have in mind. I did have a potential for an RPB off developing very high as a if we were to continue to rotate within the intraday. Um, However, that I just don't see that happening. The energy has kind of shifted, and if we were to go back into rotational, I would start. I wouldn't really. I would stop to consider the RPB of developing very high as it would almost be like a failed imbalance attempt. I could be wrong, but it would actually have me leaning more towards or it would kind of invalidate that original thesis that I had, and just because we had a rejection of that weekly development very low, and that's the story that's playing out. Um, so that's the one leading the way, and I'm more so looking for continuation of that idea than to see it being invalidated or retested. But my goal today, again, as a trader who's trying to lose less, I would say would be, you know, if this fails, if this original idea that I'm working on fails, I think it would be best to just step away and just given the amount of risk that I'm already putting on, For the week, I think that would kind of put me in a position where, all right, yesterday was, I took a good amount of the risk. I don't really think I'd have too much available to continue to press on any new idea or on any other part of the plan today. And I think this is the key plan, and one I have time for, and two, I feel like it would kind of have me. I wouldn't be able to mentally adjust to another other idea or another thesis, halfway into the day. Um, but most of the time, I will have to, I essentially have to step away too. So it'd probably just be best to trade this one idea into this morning session and call it a day. If it fails, I think that would be a great win. In terms of process, it's like, okay, came in, had an idea, the idea failed, put on the correct amount of risk, and we call it a day. I think that would be a great win, a losing win, losing day. That's a win. So, yeah, we'll see what happens, and then I'll come back and review.